Most people don't realize that there's a lot more to getting organized than just hiding all of your stuff in containers. Hi guys, it's Emily, the Minimalist Mama. Here on my channel, we like to talk about pursuing minimalism with grace. And today, I'm going to share with you my 5-step system to organizing any space. I've touched on this before in a handful of other videos where I go through and show you my process of organizing this space, but I wanted to make a dedicated video that just goes into these 5 steps in more detail, so that you'll have this and you can use these exact 5 steps when you're tackling any space in your home. And yes, I have notes here, so I don't forget anything. You decided to get organized. Congratulations. You might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed. What most people do when they start out is go shopping and buy a bunch of containers and bins and drawer organizers and all of the things, thinking that then they'll bring all that stuff home and then shove all the clutter into it. The problem is, in about a week or a month, some amount of time will pass and you'll wonder, why is everything a mess again? What has happened? The problem is you didn't create a system, and there's a specific process to follow that I find is the most efficient and also cost-effective way to organize. If you're a busy mom like me, you need a proven system to cut through the overwhelm and give you some clear, actionable steps to help you get organized fast. So the acronym that I like to use to remember these 5 steps is SPACE. Sort, purge, assign, contain, and evaluate. Number 1 is sorting. This is just putting like things with like. And to do that, you're going to have to pull everything out of the space that you're starting with. If you're fairly new to organizing, I recommend starting with a smaller area, maybe a bathroom or a closet, and pull everything out of that one space and sort it, putting like with like. So if you're doing a bathroom, all the hair products might go together. If you're doing a closet, all of the sweaters are going to go together. This allows you to see all of what you have, and then you can make decisions on it. The fact that you have 3 identical containers of white rice that are all opened.
I know.
Sorry.
That's because of how I've been. It's awful.
If you're trying to sort while things are still in the cabinet or drawers or hanging up in the closet, it's just going to take you a lot longer to do, because you're going to go through all of your hanging clothes and think you're done, and then realize you actually had some other stuff stashed in the basement or in some other closet or something like that, and then you got to go through it again. So pulling it all together and putting like with like is the way to go. So before you start getting rid of stuff, we sort it, and then is the purge step, where you decide, I actually don't need 5 umbrellas, so I'm going to put 1 in each car and call it good. Once you have everything sorted, it's easy to see how much you actually have. Then you'll realize you have 5 of the identical black sweater and you really only need 1. So the purging step is next, and this is really important because our space is limited. We can't just keep buying stuff and shoving it in and think that that's gonna work in the long term. Something's gotta give. And the key to getting organized is clearing out all of the stuff you don't need, don't use, don't want, so that the things you have left, everything can fit and have a home and have a place to belong. And then it's so much more manageable to maintain, because you're not having to dig through all of that other crap to find the thing that you need. I cannot overstate the importance of this purging step, and it is probably the one that takes the longest time. Definitely plan on spending the most time here, making decisions about what to keep and what to let go. So after purging is assigning, and that is where we're going to decide where things should belong. So you might realize that the way you had things arranged before wasn't really functional, and it didn't really work with how you and your family use the space. So we're going to assign a home for every item, and this is key for creating your organizational system, because then you'll know where things belong, where to put things back, and you'll be able to maintain this in the long run. So we're going to assign, and then we're going to contain. So this is where we're going to set up actual physical boundaries. And this is really important. I used to think containers were a total waste of money and just an organizing ploy to get you to spend money. And I think sometimes they are still. But there are a lot of times that containers are hugely helpful because they create those physical boundaries. So like we talked about with assigning a place for things to belong, with containing, you're placing physical boundaries on the item so you know you can't overflow. For example, with toys, my kids can have as many stuffed animals as fit in this stuffed animal basket, or as many dress-up clothes as fit in the dress-up basket. But once it's overflowing, we know there's too much there and it's time to go through it and purge and declutter some stuff out. Also, it makes the best use of your space. So particularly in drawers, drawer organizers, or inserts for drawers, help you make the best use of the space you have. You can fold things, file fold things inside of a drawer organizer, and it's a lot more functional than stacking things on top of each other where you have to dig in underneath to get something. To the contain step, I would add labeling. Labeling just frees up your brain space because you don't have to try to remember what categories of items are stored in which bins or which shelves or whatever, because the label will just say it. And this is especially helpful if you live with other people, because they will not intuitively understand your organizational system. So labeling is hugely helpful. Okay, so we talked about sorting, purging, assigning, containing. Our last step is evaluating. That's the E. With any system, you're going to need to tweak it over time. You're going to have to live with it a while, see how it works, and then you'll realize where you need to make some adjustments. Maybe you need a slightly smaller basket for some particular category, or the place you have assigned for something actually isn't really working out super well and you need to make some changes to it. Instead of running into issues and then deciding to start the whole thing over or deciding the whole thing is a failure, you can really look at it and decide where you can make some tweaks to make it a lot more functional. Those are the 5 steps for my system, and it sounds really easy, right? It sounds really simple, but simple is not the same thing as easy. Decluttering and organizing is like 90% mindset shifts and mindset changes and 10% habit changes. Both of those things are kind of difficult to do. But since you're here and you're watching this video, I know you're motivated to make a change and I know you can do this. Maybe you're tired of feeling like all you do all day is pick up after everyone, or you're tired of misplacing things and having to rebuy them. Maybe you feel like the walls are closing in on you and you feel like you're drowning under all of this stuff and piles of clutter everywhere. Maybe you just want to have the space in your home and in your life to pursue the things that really truly matter to you and bring you joy. It might sound crazy to you right now, but I'm confident that you can make your home a place of calm and peace and joy. I'm confident in that because I've seen so many moms do it. They were just as overwhelmed as you when they started, and they've totally transformed their lives and their homes. So what's your biggest struggle when it comes to decluttering and organizing? Leave a comment down below. I would really love to hear from you. And I have a free Decluttering Your Life guide that recaps this 5-step system and also has 20 pages of checklists that cover every room in your house. So you can download that at the link in the description below. It's totally free, and I hope it's a good jumping off place for you as you begin this journey. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you next week. Sort, purge, assign, contain. Sort, purge, sort, purge, contain, assign. Sort, purge, assign, contain, and evaluate.